Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, and welcome to this edition of the EGU podcast for awakening and emerging entrepreneurs to help you thrive in energy, mindset, business, and all things spiritual. You're with Michelle Reinhardt, creator of this amazing show, Self and Soul Mastery for Abundance Seekers, and the online community hub, Entrepreneurs Globally Unite. Today's guest and I share many common interests. The most profound is the desire and ability to bring people back to their pure self. And today we're going to help you shift there if you're not there already, because that is where the magic lies in life. So please turn off your zings and pings as we journey with you and help you to learn how to tap into your pure self and know that your story is quite possibly not your truth. Take a beautiful, big, deep breath with us and get super present. Drop from your head into your heart as I welcome our guest today, Cynthia Zeki. Welcome to the show, Cynthia.
Thank you so much for having me, Michelle. I'm very happy to be here.
Thank you, Cynthia. We had the most gorgeous conversation last week, and I love the way the universe lines things up. I really do. So let me just share with our guests a little bit about what you do. So Cynthia is an energy transformation coach who's studied and worked with many different healing modalities and has taught classes and given healings throughout the US and the Caribbean. She developed the pure energy of you, which works with the energy in every cell of your body, to lovingly diffuse the impact of challenging life experiences so you can embrace every part of your life. The Pure Energy program uses transformative colors and the feelings they evoke in your body to completely eliminate the self-doubt, recrimination, and limitations that your egoic mind and conditional heart has tried to tell you is truth. After Cynthia's program, you will have developed a deep and lasting understanding of yourself so that you're always confident, always open, and at peace with yourself and with others. Cynthia, wow. When I was introduced to your gorgeous program, it blew me away. It just is a complete transformational approach to things that we have felt have been just too hard in the past. Don't you agree?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. The people that I work with most often are people who have had such a huge life-changing, disruptive shift in their world that this program allows them to take that shift where their mind isn't working the way it once did and their heart isn't working the way it once did, especially in perspective with everybody else, to allow them to just be in alignment and really get into a whole new beautiful space of their pure self.
And it is a beautiful space. Once you go there, there is no other space to be in.
Absolutely.
So I know from our conversation, Cynthia, that you went from being an introvert and a healer to an energy transformation coach. That can't have been easy.
It wasn't, but it was time. So basically what happened was that this program, as it came to me, was a result of my own shift. I felt for maybe a year and a half or 2 years that my work was bigger than what I was able to express, and it needed to be in a broader space. That was one reason. And another reason is I'm getting to a place where I wanted to decide how I wanted to live the rest of my life. You know, I read a quote somewhere where someone said, I want to live a life I don't have to take a vacation from. Yeah. I thought, wow, that's beautiful. And so moving my work online will allow me to travel to visit my family and just do all kinds of things that I want to do. So there were many reasons that I went there. But like you, I do a lot of my own self-work, and my life is my work. I don't have a separation of who I am as I show up in person with my clients and who I am at home with my husband. You know, I'm human, of course. I'm not perfect, but what I teach and work with my clients is how I live my life.
And that's exactly why I believe you're experiencing the success you are, both with yourself and your client, because there's a true congruency and there's no contradictory vibrations going in there and messing things up.
Yeah, and it's hard won for a lot of healers, I believe, because so many of us have had a hard and challenging background. There's the wounded healer is alive and present in all of us, I believe, at some point. I think healers in general have a very hard time in childhood and young adulthood because we're different. And we're highly sensitive. And I grew up at a time where highly sensitive translated as, well, what's wrong with you? Or get over it, right? And so doing that transformative work where I'm no longer my story, as we've talked about, or no longer the wounds in my heart, but being able to see that as my story or my experiences on the planet rather than my pure self has been remarkable. So I've gone through the transformation that I now help others do.
And that is the true essence of a healer and a coach, for that matter. You can't teach people things that you haven't lived yourself.
Absolutely.
So I learned one of the big shifts that happened for me was when I dropped into the space that my life was actually happening for me, not to me. And I began to look at all of the things that had happened in my past with a whole different appreciation, and also a bit of frustration, because if I'd have figured this out 20 years ago, my life would have been quite different much sooner. And we've had this conversation, but I'd love to open this up just to help people understand that their stories need not be their future reality.
And what I teach and what I believe is that one thing that I do right away is I get people out of their mindset. And of course, mindset is important, but your mindset is not all that you are. Your mindset is based and formed by your experiences with others, period. By your family, by your schooling, by your relationships with people. This is how we build our mindset. And so when I have clients who've defined themselves in a certain way, and then an event happens that they can't be in that space anymore. So I've told you about I see clients who've had deaths of spouse or children, or a mother who set her whole life to make sure her highly sensitive kids made it successfully through school, and now they're going to college on the other side of the country. Your whole definition, your whole mindset has to shift because you're no longer your role. And this is the problem with mindset, is we see ourselves as our role as a mother. Well, when your children are gone away, then your relationship with your spouse shifts, your relationship with other mothers shift, your relationship with everything shifts. And so your mindset has to shift, but you can't shift your mindset from your mindset necessarily. So to be in your pure self allows you to see your mindset and your heart, which is also your connection with others, allows you to be in that place of neutrality and openness. Without judgment. And that's the hardest thing, because we're conditioned to say, this is good, this is bad, I want to be happy, I don't want to be sad. And I fell into that myself. I was one of those healers that was all love and light, and just pushed down anything that didn't feel right. Oh, that's not, or blaming myself when life didn't go right? And it's like, well, yes, no, I don't think any child sets themselves up to be abused. And I'm never going to tell a mother whose child died that, it's all happened for a reason. Those are things our mind tells us to make sense of things. But a lot of life isn't about making sense. It's about being present with who you are, where you are at all times. So I think that's the biggest gift of my program, is that it stops that mind going forward or backwards and keeps you present, which allows you to not have too much fear or worry or concern about judgment, or even judgment of yourself, because you're present with yourself at all times.
I 100% agree with you, Cynthia. I had an experience just 2 weeks ago that was potentially life-shattering for me, life-altering. I could have allowed my mind to race into the future and come up with every possible scenario, but I chose to get really present. I know at that point in time that I shifted my life.
Absolutely.
I shifted the patterns, I shifted the habits, I shifted the results. I couldn't have done that a year ago, 2 years ago, without having that state of presence, and also knowing that we are divinely guided, and that I sat back and I asked, if this is what it's meant to be, then you're going to have to help me through it. That was a life-altering moment for me. I know that our listeners have experienced these things before, and I would love to gain your insight as to how they can shift that mind from racing forward or backwards.
One of the best things you can do for yourself is to not separate yourself from your pure self. And what that means is that when you understand, when you get wisdom, when you get intuition, this is a very integral part of who you are when you are in alignment. It's not about anything outside of you helping you. It's about you being in alignment with all that there is, including you. One thing that this program really shows me is that we know from science that energy is neither created nor destroyed, and energy is in constant motion. We know that. Therefore, when we talk about the big I am, that means that, yes, we have our individuation on the planet. There are some things that are stronger in me than others and weaker in me than others that are in flow. But when we are in true flow, we have every resource throughout all space and time available to us. And that requires presence. Now, to get out of your mind about it, one thing that I used to do was I used to take that crazy mindset, that crazy mind, that hamster wheel, to its very end, right? I would say, okay, so I told you earlier, one of my things in life has been worrying about money. Now, I've always paid my bills. I've always had enough. Shifting my mindset, which was shifting my mindset, my energy, and everything else around money has allowed things to open up. But I would lay in bed worrying about things and not having faith that I was able to energetically, I was in the space to have that happen. And so I would take it to the very end. Okay, so what are you going to do? Are you going to lose your house? Are you going to have to move in with your parents? Are you going to have to do all this stuff? And it would go to such a point of ridiculousness that I was able to understand that was just simply my mind. Now, that worry, that fear, is something that we have as a child when things are beyond our control. And it makes perfect sense as a child to have that, because very little is within our control. But one thing that we can do as adults is write down immediately what's bugging you, and one or two solutions or baby steps. Baby steps are huge. Baby steps are huge.
Yeah.
Okay, right? So if I'm worried about money, well, what can I do tomorrow? Oh, I can follow up on that client who I haven't heard from but said she wanted an appointment and I completely forgot about because I was too busy in my worry. Okay, so I do that appointment book. There you go. That was a baby step. So I think that's one thing that pulling yourself out of your mind is huge. And I do that. I teach that with colors. So one thing that you can do is allow a color to come to you and feel what that color feels like. So on my Facebook page, I have the chart of colors of how it works for me. So one thing that I go back to often is the use of violet, which is forgiveness. And when we're in our mind and we're beating ourselves up, we need to forgive ourselves for whatever we think it's happened in order to get out of that worry and that fear. Or the pink, which I'm doing a free event next week on, is about belonging to yourself, where you accept yourself and then you understand yourself and then you work on loving and belonging to yourself. And so instead of saying, oh my gosh, I'm so stupid for doing that, you say, I did that. It's okay. I didn't hurt anybody. Or if you do hurt somebody, then you just go and apologize and you make your amends and then you're done. And then after you accept yourself, and that takes a little bit of time, then you understand yourself. You say, why did that happen? Why did I do that then? What else was going on? And a lot of times it's something as simple as pushing yourself, especially for women and mothers, pushing yourself way beyond what you should have done, right?
Yes. I really love that you said that, because we have many roles. We wear many different hats during our day. And until recently, from my point of view, not one of them has been to take care of me first.
Right. And again, it's that's the old airplane flight attendant on the airplane. Mask on your own face first, and then everybody else's face. And a lot of times it doesn't take a lot. Sometimes it can just be sitting and having a cup of tea, or saying no. If your child wants you to help with their homework, just say, you know what, I want you to work on it by yourself for 30 minutes, and then I'll come and check it for you, instead of jumping in and doing all of that. Because and with everybody, I think one thing as women we do too, if someone doesn't do something to our standards, and we just do it for them. I had that conversation with my daughter today, and I know that I've done that with my husband. If things aren't the way I want it, then I say, oh, never mind, I'll do it. Well, that's not helping me, and that's not helping him. And I think that's another thing women do.
It certainly is. That's the classic archetype of the martyr in us that's very deeply entrained.
Right. But who stops that? No one can stop that but us.
Of course. And this is a really important point, Cynthia, because the only person that can affect change within us is us.
Absolutely.
We need to just make that commitment to ourselves, and that it's honoring, isn't it?
It is. And once you start making those changes in yourself, and you release your expectations of everybody else, because you can only do what you can do for yourself. You cannot change anybody else. You can't do it.
No, you can't. And you can't expect anyone else to change for you.
No.
What I love is that everything around us is mirroring what's going on within us anyway. So if we do take the time to be completely present to that, it's all coming up for us. It's all right in front of our eyes.
Yes, and from an energetic perspective, is when your energy is straight and in alignment, then everybody else can feel it. It just kind of goes out from there. But if you're agitated, then people are going to feel your agitation more than anything else.
Agree.
So when you say it's a mirror, it's not just a mirror, because that's kind of a separation. It's like our energy is constantly going to and fro. And if your energy is agitated, everyone around you is going to feel that. If your energy is calm, everyone around you is going to feel that. Now, that's not to say it's your responsibility to be calm and happy with everybody, but it is saying that when you are aware of your energy and the energy that you are feeling, then that affects everyone else and the way that they are reacting to you. I have clients who come to me, and the first appointment, they say, rah, 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 about this guy doesn't do that, this child doesn't do that. And I says, well, they're not here with me. They're not online with me. I can't do anything about them. What's going on with you? And then as they go through my program, their relationships change. It has happened 99, well, maybe even 100% of the time in some form or fashion.
Yeah, exactly the same thing happens with me. Once we're really willing to look deeply within ourselves, to find that pure, perfect part of us that is within everybody. And when we start to live from there, things do realign quite magically.
Yes. And the nice thing about the use of color is that you have something tangible to hold on to. It's a natural and organic process. Color is everywhere around us. And if you can say, I need to feel loved today, I need to feel like I belong, then looking at something pink or feeling what pink feels to you can immediately change that perspective for you. So the energy of colors is a tool for you that resonates with your physical self. It resonates in every single cell of you. And I believe that your soul is in every part of you. I don't believe it's just in your heart or your mind or whatever. Our body is our temple. And because of that, our senses are immediate, and our senses are present, and our senses is where our pure self is.
I agree. I do agree. Cynthia, I'd like to just move slightly differently, because one of the reasons why my clients come to me is because they're lost. They're directionless, they are out of sorts, out of whack, and most of them don't know what they're meant to be doing. They don't know how to tap into that. So I'd love to, and I know we've spoken about this before too, to help people understand their purpose.
Everybody's purpose on the planet is to be of service and to be of joy. And it's really that simple. So as long as you are in service to yourself or to others with a joyful heart rather than a martyr heart, then you're doing your purpose. I think we do ourselves such a disservice to say, I have to have this great big purpose. What is my purpose? Every day you get up and you're doing something that's helpful to someone, including yourself, you're living your purpose. And we talk about our journey or our path, and we have to be careful with that because that implies that there's a straight road. But I believe that we are here present in our pure self and everything unfolds. And so if our purpose is constantly unfolding, then it doesn't mean it's just directly in front of us with blinders on, right? It can come up from anywhere and everywhere. And that can give you peace, and that can give you solace, and that can keep you knowing that what you are doing is living your purpose.
That's beautiful. So in essence, if people are feeling happy and joyful and loving, they will be led.
Absolutely.
They will unfold.
Yeah, and the nice thing about living that way is you can be open to miracles. You know, when we think of a miracle, it's something unbelievable, right? That's the definition of a miracle. Wow, that was miraculous. I don't believe that happened to me. But when you think about it, once you're in your pure self, you believe everything that happens. Everything that happens, and so you are living. The world is a place of miracles. It's just us being open to that possibility. So if you're not so set on your purpose that this is it and this is the be all end all of it, then you can be aware of all the other miraculous options around you. When I started doing this work, I didn't believe in the work that I'm doing now. I didn't believe it. I was very cynical. I was an academic. I was a professor. I was in academia. When I became a massage therapist, I was a clinical massage therapist, and I didn't believe in any of the woo-woo stuff. And then opened up, and here I am doing this amazing stuff that is my purpose now.
Can't get any more woo-woo than this one.
No. Though actually, I'm not using the word woo-woo anymore because this is a natural and organic place of who we are. Period. It is not something outside ourselves. Our brains have created throughout history that this is unnatural. But in fact, our intuition, our wisdom is our most natural thing because it's innate. It's not something that we have to study. It's innate. So going back to that understanding that in our purest self, our wisdom and our intuition is a natural, organic part of ourselves. Once that's understood, then everything else is easier.
It is, and I know that may sound quite trite to some people, but it is truth. Cynthia, what happens in people's lives when they find their pure self?
They immediately stop, I don't want to say caring, but I can't find another word right now. Other people's opinions don't matter to them anymore. And it's not saying that they're going and being mean to anybody, but they understand that if someone says something that is not respectful of them, it doesn't matter because they know who they are. Or if someone misunderstands them, they'll try to explain it, but it doesn't matter because they belong to themselves. As soon as you belong to yourself, the people that you love come to you openly. The people who are not serving you leave because you're no longer an energetic match. So the imbalance that you have with people just doesn't matter. And then you get over fear. You no longer fear. And once you're out of that fear state, life is amazing. When you no longer have fear, it doesn't mean that bad things don't happen, but you are at the point where you're not going into that brain hurricane or the hamster wheel, and you can say, oh, here I am, what is mine to do about it? And there is so much peace and calm in that. And if you can't do anything about it, well, that's okay too, because you know it and it's there. So that calm you have, the ability to just get up every day and say, hey, I'm pretty cool, and this is a great day and I'm joyful, or if I'm not, what can I do to put myself back in that space? It's amazing.
It is. It's beautiful, isn't it? And
it is.
It's being strong, like being just, and it's not as strong that you're stronger than anyone else. It's like finding that secret, that absolute essence it's true.
Absolutely. And it's strong and it's soft at the same time, because, and that's another thing that happens when you find your pure self. There's no competition anymore. You get to appreciate every single person for the beautiful soul they are. And, I, like many women, I went through a large part of my life judging myself and comparing myself to this woman or that woman, and, oh, she's thinner, or she's prettier, or, oh, whatever, I have better hair, or whatever. This is something that we do internally. We're not even aware of it for a while. And then once I was able to be in my pure self, I stopped that. And I just thought, look, that woman is so gorgeous inside or out, or just being constantly amazed and delighted. I guess that's the word, constantly delighted by people and life.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I saw something online that really made me, it excited me actually. It was just like, hello Tuesday, surprise me. And it's that sort of thing. It's just like, what have you got for me today? And that's how I wake up in the mornings.
Yes.
And if I don't, which is rare nowadays, I shift it real fast, because I know that is not the way that my day is going to roll out.
Yeah. Well, I think that sometimes, though, to acknowledge that you're human and to be patient with yourself is something that's really, really important too. Sometimes you can't be 100%. That's the way our energy is, right?
Yeah.
And to be gentle with yourself and to be soft with yourself is really, really, really important. Some days I get up and I'm saying, okay, I'm not 100% today. How can I have a gentle start to my day? And actually, I've kind of built that into my schedule. I rarely take really early appointments in the morning, because I need my time to wake up and to meditate and do all the things that I want to do. Now, it's not cut in stone. If there's a scheduling conflict, I'll do that. But I think that one thing that has really, really helped me is to reduce a lot of my expectations that every day has to be 100%, because we're not 100%. Yeah. We're not 100% every day, right?
That's right. So just to summarize for our listeners, know that living in your pure self is natural, and it's organic, and it's human. All of us need to be happy in this gorgeous vessel that we have, our mind, our body, and our soul. And that balance is what makes us strong and energized and healthy, when we truly feel at home in our own skin.
Absolutely.
The understanding of yourself on others and others' opinions is what leads us to being unfulfilled and unhappy.
Yes, you can't let anybody else decide who you are. They don't know you like you know you.
No.
Nobody does. Nobody does.
It's a very good point. I do say that to people a lot when they say they don't know, and I just say, well, I will challenge that, because you're the only one that does.
But yes, so a lot of people don't, and that's, again, I'm sure it's the work that you do and it's the work I do. It's to help you understand who you are.
Yeah, and we hold them until they do understand that for themselves.
With love. With lots of love.
With so much love. On that note, thank you so much, Cynthia, for joining me today. It's been a real pleasure and a gorgeous conversation. I'm sure we will have helped many women.
Thank you. Thank you again.
Cynthia, where can people find you?
They can find me on my website at cynthiazeki.com. I'm on Facebook at, I do most of my posting right now on my personal page, Cynthia Zeki, PhD, RMT. I also have a business page, Cynthia Zeki, The Pure Energy of You. I'm on LinkedIn and Instagram, though I'm most active on Facebook, to be honest.
Yeah, I am too. I find that it resonates. It's a bit softer than LinkedIn for me.
Yes.
And Cynthia, you very kindly extended an offer to our listeners as well.
Yeah, if you go to my, either on my personal page or on my business page, I have a free event coming up next week. it's about belonging to yourself, self-belonging. And you can register for it, and I will show you a little bit about what the program is by taking you in a very nice meditation where you can feel yourself as yourself in every cell of your body. It's a lovely, lovely experience.
This is an event that will be evergreen, will be ongoing?
Well, I have them every 4 weeks.
Okay.
So I will post them as they come up, and I'll post them in your group. And
Thank you.
And if you register for, even if you go to my website and you subscribe, I automatically include that information when it comes up.
Fantastic. Cynthia, thank you so very much for joining us. Guys and girls, you can find me, Michelle Reinhardt, at michellereinhardt.com.au. Please come and play with us in community at Entrepreneurs Globally Unite. There's nearly 6,000 of us gorgeous like-minded souls in there. You can just request to join. There's 3 questions that need to be answered, and then I can let you in. Please be sure to subscribe to the show so that you don't miss a single moment of the experts that I bring to life for you. And I'm sure you've loved our message today. It's wonderful to have you with us so that you can thrive. Sending huge love into your day and your life. Cynthia, thank you so much again, sweetheart. It's been a delight to have you.
Thank you, Michelle. It has been great fun for me as well.
Fantastic. Thanks, guys and girls. We'll see you next week. Bye for now.